All right, Miss Chelsea. First, I just want to say thank you for participating with me today and kind of being my guinea pig and allowing me to use some different tools with you. So first off, we've kind of had I personally know you, but I also know your life is very hectic. You're a nursing student. You are also a mother of 3 children. You work full time and you have a husband. So, and 2
Yes.
dogs.
Yes.
So you have a lot going on. And just from conversations we have had prior to this, I also know in the back of your head a little bit of how to balance it all, kind of making sure that you have your life in balance and to where you're feeling comfortable moving forward into your new career path. So one way we can kind of look at that is, where are you at today? So moving forward, you kind of know little areas of your life you can pay a little bit more attention to, so you can facilitate more balance within your life and, help with maybe some of that overwhelm that you feel and maybe dissipate it a little bit, dilute it a little bit. There are
Okay.
a few tools that I have that have been given to me that could, just gives us a nice visual. That's kind of, we'll see where that goes today. Maybe that would be a good starting point for us to just kind of see where you're at and where we can go from this to help just create more balance and more peace in your life. All
Okay.
right. So before we begin, if you could just close your eyes for a second, make sure you're comfortable. And I want us to just take 3 very deep breaths, and not shallow ones from your chest, but try and do it right from your diaphragm. Breathe in through your nose to the count of 4. Hold it for 4, and then blow out for 4. Let's do that one more time. So breathe in for 4. Hold it for 4, and then blow out for 4. Now one more time, if you could breathe in for 4. Hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 4. Okay, and you can open your eyes. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm feeling calm. It's
Good.
good.
How's your headache? I know you kind of had a little bit of a headache before we got started.
I honestly think it's all psychological because Craig got tested today, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, if you don't feel good, I don't feel good. So
Okay.
I think that's
That's hilarious.
it.
All righty. So I sent you that paper before, that wheel of
Mhm.
balance, and you kind of see those 8 categories right there.
Mhm.
We have romance and intimacy, friends and family, money, health, physical environment, fun and recreation, career, and spiritual alignment. Now tell me, do you feel like that is a good representation of the areas in your life, like active areas in your life? Would you replace anything in there, any of the categories?
No.
So they're pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Now tell me, we're gonna we're gonna rate these for you, and we're gonna use the typical scale of 1 to 10. So
Okay.
on a scale of 1 to 10, what would a 1 mean for you?
Like, are we going with priority, or like what are we rating them based off of?
As far as, let's do it, how balanced you feel it is in your life. So what would 1 represent to you? Would that be like good, bad?
Well, 1 would definitely be bad,
Okay.
and then 10 would be the best. 5 would be, I mean, just, I don't even know, probably just like trying, but not really succeeding. But like, you
Would it
know,
would you be like content but willing
yeah.
to progress a little bit on it?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Content but willing to move further, pretty much.
Right.
Okay. So I'm just going to take notes as we do this as well, especially because you're not right in front of me. All right. So let's start with your romance and intimacy. And if you even want to like take your paper, you can,
Mhm.
however you want to do this, you can either put, on the lines, you can number it 1 to 10, or even on this line, you can just put the number that you feel that it's at and then color it in, for instance.
Okay.
However you want to do that to give you a really good visual representation of how like,
Mhm.
you're looking at your life from the outside, in, just having a good representation. So however you decide to do that today through this little meeting, go ahead and do that. But let's kind of go with romance and intimacy. On that scale of 1 to 10, on your scale of 1 to 10, how balanced do you feel that it is? Where does it fall on that scale?
Oh, geez. I wouldn't think it would be too high. I would think with everything going on, I'd probably think like a 3.
Okay. And there's no right or wrong answer with this. Remember, this is just looking at your life right now, where it's at right now. And this allows us to look at areas that maybe if you're wanting to improve on them, if you're feeling that knacking, this will give us kind of a direction on where to
Mhm.
move in future sessions. But we have to kind of know where we're at, so we know where to start.
Right.
So you would say you're at a 3 with romance and intimacy?
Yeah.
Hold on, my mouse is doing that thing again. It just like flipped me onto another screen. So if you can't see me, let me know.
No, I can see you. You're good.
Okay, because it's doing its own thing. Okay. So with friends and family,
Mhm.
do you feel, where would you land on that?
I'd probably put like a 4 just because of the time constraint I have with my focuses.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, see the family once a week, and then I text friends a lot, but not really as often as I want to,
Okay, so there's definitely, you want some improvement there. Okay.
for sure.
All right. And how about money?
Honestly, I think that's pretty good in my area. I'd put like an 8.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You feel pretty like balanced and you know where everything's going and not too stressed out about it.
Not at all, especially after the refinance and getting rid of one of the cars. Like, money's definitely not like anything that's a concern.
Good. Okay. And how about your personal health?
Um, I would definitely put that like physical or emotional and mental. Let's ask that.
Well, okay, so for today, we can even break that up into 2 categories if you wanted to. We could put your emotional health and then we could put your physical, that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. We can even break that up into 2 categories.
Okay. I would say my emotional is it's probably sitting at like a 6 or 7.
Okay.
I would say physical. I mean, I of course haven't been sick in like over a year, but now my mind's messing with me. So I'd probably put like a 5 with that.
Okay. All right. And what about your environment? I know that you are home, even with schooling and things of that nature. How do you feel in your environment and your day to day?
Um, I would say my environment's fine. I'd put it at probably like an 8.
Okay. All right. And what about fun and recreation? How's that in your life?
That's like a straight up 1. I don't have any.
All right. And as far as your career?
I would say that includes my job and my schooling, and I would say a 10 because it's literally all of my energy pretty much goes to that. So,
But you feel like it's going really, really well then.
right.
There's nothing
Yeah.
there that you feel like you need to give to it.
No, because I give my all to it. So,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Okay. And how is your spiritual life right now? Your
I
connection
would
to God.
I would rate it like a 7. Like it's really strong, but I don't take the time really that I think I need every day for it.
Okay. Right. So now kind of looking at all of these together, is there an area that you feel after looking at these numbers, something that you feel within your soul that you're kind of wanting to, you wish you could work on to make that number go up more?
I mean, obviously with the romance and intimacy,
Mhm.
everything that's going on with that, which that's my main struggle right now. When it comes to fun and recreation and friends and family, I know that that has to do with my schooling and the amount of energy I put into it. So I know that once I graduate in December, those will kind of even themselves out.
So you're okay with where it's at. It's not
Yeah.
something that you're feeling guilty or bad about. You're okay with it. Okay.
Yeah, because it's just a sacrifice and I know that it'll, there's an end to it, in sight.
Right. Okay. So good. So we
Mhm.
don't really even need to go in that area and try and improve that because it's not something that's nagging at you. So
Mhm.
you're okay with it, bottom line.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like everybody around you is okay with it and understanding. So we won't need
Mhm.
to worry about that. Everything else seems, slightly, balanced. We kind of talked about your schooling does take, that's the only one on that wheel where you're at a 10 right now.
Mhm.
What I'm hearing from you, the romance and intimacy is kind of the
Mhm.
area that if you could improve and give a little bit to have it more expansive, would that be a good
Yeah.
word? Does that sound like a good word for you?
Mhm.
Your life, more present in your
Yeah.
life, that would be kind of the thing you'd want to work on.
Right.
So when we talk about romance and intimacy, to move that, if we were to move that number up on the scale, we're not giving it a timeline. I just ideally,
Mhm.
where would you like it to be at?
I don't want to say 10 because I feel like that's too like the Notebook and fake.
Okay.
I would say like an 8 would be ideal.
Okay. And what does that feel like for you? Like when you close your eyes and you feel like if it was at an 8 right now, what would that mean to you?
Um, Open communication,
Okay.
willingness to communicate, able to communicate, trust, um, just like kind of just like contentment and happiness and
Mm-hmm.
all just everything really. I mean, I don't think that kind of thing should ever be a 10 because I feel like there can always be things to work on, and if
Mm-hmm.
it's perfect then that would kind of be boring, but yeah, I feel like that would be ideal for an 8.
Okay. So we'll kind of dive into this just a little bit more with the limited time that we do have. Is there anything that you do now in your life that kind of that you devote to that romance and intimacy? Is there something that you and your husband do intentionally that
we
you feel like
intent
sharing?
we I mean, we intentionally try to communicate
Okay.
and try to voice our feelings without bringing in emotions, which 70% of the time we fail, but we're trying.
Okay.
Um, we make it a point to, I try not to do like schoolwork in bed. Like when it's laying down time, we watch TV together and we pick a show out together, even if it's just like one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, with kids and with craziness and stuff, we try to at least have that time together.
Right. And I know date nights are kind of hard, especially with
Mm,
the corona going on top
yeah.
of everything else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no going out alone right now.
All right. So what I'm hearing, there's a lot of trying,
Mm-hmm.
involved. I hear we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that, which is great. It's great you're trying, but what if, do you think there's something you can do that would surpass the word try and work and make it we're going to do this. You know, I hear you talk a lot about communication, and maybe communication is your starting point to have
Mm-hmm.
more of those intimate feelings be more expansive. That was the word
Mm-hmm.
I used, to be a little bit more present in your life, and it
Mm-hmm.
all's kind of falling back to
Mm-hmm.
communication. So is there something, maybe just creating a space for you and him once a week for an hour where you guys don't have distractions or kids around? Does that sound like something that you would be interested in doing to help, you know, with that communication? Like more like a check-in.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Probably like when I said when we have like our TV and movie time, I mean, it's definitely possible to do that instead. But you know, it's usually after the kids are in bed, that we could do something like that, and you know, just sit on our bed, and you know, at least be in a quiet environment without interruptions. You know.
Yeah. So without interruptions. So when you guys are communicating before, are there a lot of interruptions, and maybe that's why emotions get high?
No, it's all about tone.
Okay.
Emotions get high. Always.
Okay. And it's tone for both your parts?
Yeah.
For both of yours. Okay. So maybe you can try setting the time. Maybe if you guys were in a position, in a very non-threatening or dominating like position, you know, with our bodies, maybe like sitting on the floor so that you're eye to eye with each other, and you're sitting, not standing. So you're not in that, you know, that dominating thing, but maybe just sitting across from each other on the bed, sitting on the floor, bringing awareness to your body language, making sure like your arms aren't crossed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Because subconsciously that can definitely make you look defensive to the other
Mm-hmm.
person, and not even aware of it, these little things. But maybe like sitting in positions to where you guys actually feel open to each other, sitting directly across from each other as equals. You know, if maybe you could set aside time the week, you know, try it, and maybe not do an hour. You know, maybe that's a little bit too much to begin with. I don't know. You tell me, what do you think would be a good for you guys
Mm-hmm.
to just talk and communicate? Like, what would
I
be a good time frame? Do you think that is feasible, where you're not pushing yourself?
I think it is. I think it would be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think it would be good to start out with more time, and then as things are worked out or things are more understood, that the
Mm-hmm.
time could go down, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or, you know, it could stay that way because it's just
Right.
your guys' time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're having these communications with him, and you're noticing the tone, things of that nature, have you guys tried communicating about positive things as well, things that are going good in your lives versus just the problems, or things that need, you know, your adult attention?
Mm-hmm. I I feel like we do. I feel like I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit hard because of all the stressors and stuff, and then all of my focus. It's kind of like, you know, school, and the kids, and they're always home. So I feel like we do talk about like, you know, his car, which he's building that he's excited about, and I
Mhm,
think it's more of exciting things on his part that we talk
mhm.
about, because with me, I'm just like, I don't really have anything right now that's exciting.
Is that how you feel though? Do you feel like your school's not, that's interesting you say that. Do you feel like your school's not exciting, or things you want to share?
It is, but I feel like I share the stress of it more than the exciting stuff. Like I feel like it gets exciting when like I see something and I'm like, oh, I know what that is, or oh, we should check that out, because I'm voicing my knowledge, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I've learned. Look at these things that I know. So
Mhm,
I feel like I express it by knowledge that I've gained, which I'm excited about. But
Mhm.
when I talk about it, it's mostly like, oh my gosh, I have a quiz this week. I have a midterm. Oh my gosh, I have all these assignments. So I'm excited about it, but I voice the stress more.
Okay, so you're internally excited about the information, but you don't externally verbalize it as often.
Right.
It's the stressful part of it.
Right.
So, sometimes communication, you want that intimacy with somebody, like we're looking at this wheel right now. There's a
Mm-hmm.
balance in our communication too. Our partners, people, we want to be around. Often they need to hear the good things, the exciting things too, because then they can come along and support you and be excited with you, and not
Mm-hmm.
just I'm supporting you because you're so stressed out.
Right.
So maybe something to try in these conversations is verbalizing that internal excitement that you feel for yourself. Maybe verbalizing that to him as well, because if he sees that excitement too, maybe he could be a little bit more excited, and then maybe you could have some of that connection
Mm-hmm.
looking for
Okay.
it's something to work trying on,
Right.
verbally putting out there your excitement, because people need
Mm-hmm.
to see that too, because then it'll be even more exciting when you graduate and then you're able to actually put that knowledge to use and be excited for that first nursing job. And
Right.
that way it doesn't seem so doom and gloom sometimes, some of
Yeah.
the stress of it all. But if he can see that from you too, then maybe you'll feel better
Mm-hmm.
about some of that stressors as well.
Right.
Okay. So what would be a good time for you guys to kind of try this, if he is willing as well?
I think probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock. There's only 2 nights I have lecture, so like it's very doable to pick a day that I don't
Okay.
to do that,
Okay. So I would encourage you to, sit with him, and I would pick a day and like have that just be your day that you do it,
Mm-hmm.
and schedule it in, and be willing to be flexible if you need to change something, either one of you guys have, but to work on it, I would start 30 minutes to an hour and just try it and see if, that trying those different things in communication, just trying, like I said, even the body positions,
Mm-hmm.
might help with the tone of voice, and see if that intimacy can start building up a little bit. It's not like you have to be on The Bachelor and go on these insane dates in order to build that intimacy. It really is just starting with you two being in presence,
Mm-hmm.
holding space for each other. And
Right.
from what I understand, he seems willing,
Mm-hmm.
um, but maybe just trying something new in that way
Okay.
would be my encouragement to you. Get your time down in the day.
Okay.
All right. And you can do it, and then you'll feel better, and then you can stand in your joy.
Yes, totally. I hear you.
Stand in your, oh, my computer did it again. Keeps doing it. Hold on. Can you still see me when it does this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Ah, it did it again. I'm trying to see you. I'm trying to see you. Okay. All right. So you think that's something you'd be able to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or try?
Totally.
See if we
Yeah.
can get some of that romance and intimacy, because if you feel that with him, maybe some of these other little areas too. I mean, because really, you have good numbers on everything. You seem pretty
Mm-hmm.
balanced, but if this is the one you want to work on and to maintain that stability as you continue
Mm-hmm.
on with your career and those building blocks, being able to get that solid into where you feel comfortable, you're going to feel more comfortable moving into this new career you're starting as
Right.
well. So that would
Mm-hmm.
be my encouragement. And how are you going to maintain, what's the word I'm looking for? Liability. Who's going to be your liability to make sure that this is happening?
Oh, geez, I don't know. What are my options?
It's anything. What's a way that you can maintain that liability? See if you're working on it.
I mean, to make sure I do it, or to make sure that it's getting better?
Make sure that you're doing it and that it's progressing.
I feel like since I'm such a scheduled type A person,
Mhm.
it's easy to hold myself liable by just putting it on the calendar, or making sure it's progressing by maybe like writing down and maybe like rating what I thought the experience was and what like the positive and negatives were, so that next time I can say, okay, well, that was a negative from last time, let's see if we can kind of work on that to build upon that. So I feel like journaling and then just making sure it's scheduled so I can see it and so I can stick with it.
Okay. So why don't we give this a few weeks to kind of get into motion? You guys find your groove, see what works for you, what doesn't. And I definitely encourage that journaling of the experience as well, so that you kind of know this worked, that worked. For you, put on your scale if you're feeling any of that intimacy grow, and check in with me in let's say like 3 weeks.
Okay.
And see if there's been any improvement and you're feeling better, and then just kind of seeing if it trickled to any other areas of your life as well.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you so much for participating with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
I
is there
appreciate
anything
it.
else I could support you in before we exit this lovely chat?
No, I think that's it for now.
All right, my dear. I did email you that survey too.
Yes.
If you could just fill that out and either email it back to me or text it to me, whatever you fill out, and I'll save it. However you want to do that, I just need to turn that in too. So I'd appreciate it.
Okay. I will do that for you.
All right. Thank you, Kelsey.
All right. You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.